Ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed that we are late on our vlog again this week. This is the second week in a row. We're not doing very well with it. There is a couple of reasons for it. One is I have a cold, and that's made it quite difficult to get anything done. Seems like a bit of a cop-out, but I've always struggled with colds since I was a child, so sorry about that. The other is I didn't do a ton of recording when I was exercising. I'm trying to find some more interesting stuff for you guys to be watching. You don't really need to be watching me weightlifting all the time. We did go abseiling on the weekends, which was fantastic. We climbed up part of Mount Barney, not the whole way up, and then we abseiled down a 47-meter cliff face. I did a lot of abseiling as a kid, so it was lots of fun. I've got a little bit of footage for you. I will show it here. How long's the abseil? 46 meters. That was really cool. Though we ran out of rope partway down, so that was fun, extending the rope mid-climb. Look at the view. It's insane. Let me flip it around. Unfortunately, the rope ended there, but that's the climb. Oh yeah. They're going to think it's funny that I'm down here talking to myself. So it's actually a waterfall that we're going down. Ooh, focus. There we go. So this is the bottom of the waterfall. It's a dry waterfall at the moment, unfortunately. That's fairly common for Australian waterfalls, or at least Queensland waterfalls. They're only sometimes running, but there's usually a fair amount of standing water. Can't drink that. This part here got a little bit hairy. That was a little bit slippery. Oh, there we go. But it was fantastic overall. Really, really good fun. Oh, there we go. So that bit there, that and then I elected to go first down the cliff because we had a few friends with us who were afraid of heights. So they were a little bit worried about the ropes holding and that kind of thing. I'm the heaviest in our friends group, so once I go down, it proves that it works quite fine. As I got down, there was about 7 meters towards the ends where the rope ran short. That's not really any fault of the person who set up the ropes. It's part of the risk you have when you set up from the top and you're trying to be efficient with what you're doing, because she wasn't able to fully abseil down, then Prusik back up, because otherwise we would have been there for 6 hours. So we got to that point. I yelled out, "I'm out of rope," then was able to brace against the wall. She was top belaying, so she was able to lock me off, and then she lowered more rope down. And it was really interesting because when I was a kid, the reason abseiling was so appealing to me is because I was deathly afraid of heights, like severely afraid of heights. Um, and that fear seems to be gone. I just went to the edge, I leaned back, I abseiled down, I got to the point where I was like, well, there's no rope left. I calmly stopped. She lowered more rope down, I abseiled down a bit further, still not enough rope. So then she top belayed me the rest of the way down, and that would have made me really uncomfortable a few years ago, but seems to be all right now. So that was really cool. Also been doing our weightlifting, and I struggled a bit. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I failed a few of my sets this week, possibly because I've had a cold, possibly because I'm trying some new stuff with my diet, possibly because that's just how weightlifting works. You go up and you go down. But I did smash out my personal record on deadlift, so I'll show that one here. So that was really cool. Smashed out that personal record. I'm hoping to get my deadlift to 200 kilos fairly soon. I'm 127.5 this week. So I hope to have it at 200 kilos by the end of the year, and I hope to be below 100 kilos by the end of the year. So I'll be deadlifting double my body weight. That's really exciting. While I'm here, another reason that we are late on the vlog today is because Mr. Ulrich is a little bit sick. We don't know what it is. He's in the hospital at the moment. It's costing us a fortune, but we need to get him checked. We need to get him fixed. He is, I don't want to say like a child to us, but he is very important to us. Bonnie and I both love Ulrich very, very much. We've had him for 5 years now. He was a rescue dog when we got him. He was fairly well abused when we got him, and he's just been amazing. So looking after him is paramount. So he's in the hospital. He's currently getting an ultrasound and an x-ray done in order to look up to figure out what's going on. But I thought it would be interesting, and I've had a lot of questions on Instagram, what is the diet we're following? So I'll quickly go through that now. Now, I'm not a doctor, obviously. I'm not a nutritionist, obviously. I'm just talking about what works for me, what worked for Bonnie. Those of you that know Bonnie know that she's had a ridiculously dramatic weight loss. And I am too. I've got centimeters, like I think I'm averaging 2 centimeters on each measurement of weight loss, except in places that I don't want to lose too much weight, which is places like my bicep and my chest and my shoulders. I don't want them to get much smaller. I want my waist to get as tiny as possible. And that's happening. That's on its way. So that's fantastic. So just after this, thank you all very much for following. Thanks to the few people that messaged me and said, "Where's the vlog this week?" That's really, I really appreciate that, because it's hard to know whether you're doing a good thing or not. And when people message my Facebook page and say, "Hey Matt, where's the vlog?" Especially you, Eldon, thank you. That made me go, okay, I need to do this, even though I don't really want to face the world while I'm waiting for my dog to be treated. It seems silly to be so affected by my dog being a little bit ill, but I am. So in a minute, thanks so much, guys. If you want to hear about what we're doing diet-wise, I'm just going to quickly talk you through it after this. So, for those of you that do want to know, the diet that we're following is called a ketogenic diet, sometimes called low-carb, high-fat, sometimes called low-carb, healthy fat, sometimes called a modified Atkins diet. The name doesn't really matter. All it works out to is this. I've worked out my calories that I need to eat, because calories in, calories out is still important on this diet. I haven't been tracking calories at the moment, because when you first start this diet, it's much easier to not count your calories. Don't worry about weight loss, just worry about adjusting. The basic gist of how it works is, for the most part, most people on a standard diet burn glucose in order to get their energy. Humans are capable of burning a few different things, well, anything to make energy. And what I'm doing is I'm shifting my body from burning predominantly glucose to burning predominantly fat. And the way that you do this is you reduce your carbohydrate intake. Now, it depends who you talk to, or what studies you read, or which research articles you look at. The jury is not completely out on what the level of carbohydrates is, but what I'm finding is working for me is I'm trying to stick below 20 grams of carbohydrates a day. I'm keeping moderate protein. So the way that I work that out is I worked out my lean body mass, and I do between 800 grams, is it 800 grams? No, between 80 grams and 100 grams of protein per kilogram of what I want my lean body mass to be, which means it's quite a bit lower than what I was eating when I was eating a standard diet. And then the rest of my diet is composed of fat. Now, this fat comes from the meats that I'm eating. It comes from cream that I drink in my coffee. So coffee's gone from soy milk, because I'm sort of lactose intolerant, to heavy cream. Heavy cream has very little lactose in it, so it doesn't make me sick. I get it from butter, coconut oil, avocados, nuts like macadamia nuts and almonds, and mostly animal sources. So I am a big meat eater. I love my meat. I understand your arguments for the people that are vegetarian by choice. I also have some friends who are vegan not by choice. It's a medical requirement. So this diet wouldn't work for them, obviously. But for me, I feel best when I'm eating meat. I'm also eating a lot of supplements because when you start this diet, you lose a lot of water weight. If you follow the tracking on Instagram of how much weight I lost, you would notice that in the first week I lost 4.5 kilos. That's mostly water and glycogen that's stored in your fat cells and muscle cells, muscle fibers. That's not actually fat loss, but I've been losing significantly each week. So I think we're up to 5 weeks, and I think I've lost around 9 kilos. However, this week I did go up by 900 grams. That could be because even though I'm keeping my carbohydrates low, I have been neglecting my calorie counting. I don't want to become super anal with my calorie counting, but I do need to restrict still. The basic physics of calories in, calories out still applies. There is differences in whether a calorie is a calorie based on who you talk to. Plus, you can't measure how much you're defecating. You can't measure how much you're peeing out. You can't measure how much is actually in the food. You've got to basically got an average for that. So I find ketogenic eating works really well for me. I've got tons of energy. I can fast whenever I want. Most days I don't eat until 1 o'clock. And I feel fine. The other day I did a 19-hour fast, and I felt fine until the 19th hour. And at about the 19th hour is when I got home, and I sat down with Bonnie, and we debriefed on our day, and I went, it's time for dinner. So I don't know whether I was really hungry or if it was just a social thing. We'll see. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. You may agree or disagree with this particular diet. Bonnie has had fantastic results. I can't argue with the results that Bonnie's had. I am now officially lighter than I was when Bonnie and I got married. I sort of fit into a suit that I owned when I was 18. It's my only suit from when I was working in real estate that I still have, because it's the first suit that my father bought me. So it's got some sentimental value. I'm never going to fit my shoulders or chest back into that suit unless I don't know. I think I'd have to shave bone and muscle off my body. But the pants are almost fitting. All my pants that I had beforehand are loose. I've just tried all of my medieval hose on. Nah. So I got to figure something out before St Ives Medieval Fair. And my goal is to have my waist as tiny as possible before the St Ives Medieval Fair, so that I really have that nice 15th century tiny waist, massive shoulders look. And you know, my inspiration is a lot of the jousters and the HMB fighters out there at the moment, because a lot of them have the physique that I desire. So exercise-wise, still lifting weights and adding cardio to stuff. As I mentioned in my last vlog, Bryce gave me lots of feedback as to what I could do for my cardio, and actually, since I put that vlog out, more people have contacted me with some advice. So once this cold is gone and I'm not coughing up phlegm all the time, I'm going to implement more of that. But while this cold is here, I've just been doing interval training on a cross trainer, because it doesn't cause me to cough my guts up. But yeah, so basically 20 grams of carbs. I think I'm doing like 800 grams of protein, something like that. I don't know. I haven't really been counting it. I'm about to. And as much fat as I want, or until satiety. And so the idea is that you feel satisfied, not full. And in this way, you find that a lot of the studies show that you are still calorie restricting, even though you feel full all the time. The reality is that the food that you're eating is typically more nutrient dense. And so therefore you eat less as you get used to things. And the idea is, once you convert to burning body fat, to burning fat for fuel, it produces ketones. Your brain can run off of 75% ketones quite well. It's been shown to help with cognitive function. It's been shown to help with Alzheimer's. It's especially been shown to help with epilepsy. In fact, we've known since Roman times that fasting, actually, I think even ancient Greek times, I'm not sure which one it was first, but they knew that fasting was a good way to treat epilepsy. So all of these things, there's all these benefits, all these therapeutical benefits. I'm not really after any of those therapeutical benefits other than more cognitive function, because that's helping with uni. I'm after weight loss, and that's my goal, is to lose weight till I'm under 100 kilos. So I'm sitting at about 118 at the moment. As I said, I went up a little bit, but that's okay. That's how weight loss works. It's up and down. I'm sitting at about 118 at the moment. I want to be under 100 by the end of the year. I think that's a doable goal, especially when I'm going to start now tracking my macros more closely, tracking my calories more closely, and I'm throwing in a few 24-hour fasts here and there. Not specifically for the weight loss, but mainly because I want to see if I can do it. And I feel awesome when I'm not eating. I feel awesome when I eat, but it for someone who's struggled with binging and eating too much and finding pleasure from food and having that high and crash with food for most of my life. It's a um, genetic disposition for me. My parents have the same problem. And my brothers not so much because they're bodybuilders. But that that crash cycle and that cycle of binging and that cycle of just thinking, when can I eat next? What can I eat next? And all of that goes away. And being able to fast, um, it's like the ultimate. It's the ultimate stuff you, because I'm trying to remain family friendly, to that cycle. It's the ultimate, strength as far as I'm concerned to do with food control, and that is something that's unbelievably satisfying psychologically, I guess, to me. It, it's been there's tons of research about how it's beneficial therapeutically, how it's best beneficial weight loss wise, all of that. But the reality of why I want to fast and why I am fasting is because it's a challenge that allows me to defeat my demons of the past, which is fantastic. We're going to do another video. I mentioned that this video might have it, but I can see that I've already gone to over 10 minutes, which is too long. All my videos are too long. We're going to do another video soon talking about how I can manipulate a medieval diet, especially a diet that a knight may eat, since I am knight for hire. So we're going to do a video on how we can manipulate the medieval food that we eat to try and help fit it within a ketogenic diet. I will mention one thing. The number one thing you've got to cut out in the medieval diet is bread. And that's a huge part of the medieval diet. So we're not going to be entirely historically accurate with our food when we're at events, except I could just fast. That's a possibility. Depends whether I'm fighting or not. But yeah, so we won't be 100% historically accurate with our food intake based on what they actually ate, but we can use medieval ingredients to make a really, really, really balanced ketogenic diet, which is fantastic. It just fits perfectly with what we do. And it works really well for university. It just works. It's just fantastic. So sorry about the vlog, guys. Hopefully this satisfies your needs. Eldon, give me a thumbs up if you think that this is good enough. And I hope to have more footage for you next week. We will be posting on Instagram, so if you are worried about Ulrich, I will be posting some pictures of videos of him as he gets better. If he gets better, I hope he gets better. And let you guys know what he's up to. Thanks, guys. See you next week.